All right, so this is the beginning of what could be a quite interesting podcast. I had a guy named Adam McDowell, also known as @MovingMuscle on Instagram, reach out to me on Instagram, I think, right, Adam?
Yep.
And he's like, oh, I know this guy, Shawn Sherman. He's amazing. He's got this new bodywork technique that just like resets the way you use your muscle, enough stuff to where I was kind of intrigued because I'm always kind of tuned into new forms of bodywork therapy or muscle activation, whatever you want to call it. But Adam introduced me to this guy named Shawn Sherman from a company called Square One Systems. And the show notes for today's episode is actually going to be at bengreenfieldfitness.com/square1, like square the number one, bengreenfieldfitness.com/square1. So I told Adam, I'm like, well, I mean, like, if I've got a free, couple of days, why don't you guys fly up and we'll put a massage table out in the sunshine like we have right here, and we'll record some content and see if this is something that could be helpful to my audience, because I know a lot of you are weekend warriors, exercise enthusiasts, recreational athletes, pro athletes, people who just want to keep their bodies put together for health span and lifespan for a period of time. So anyways, so Shawn and Adam showed up at my house yesterday afternoon here in Spokane. We got my massage table out here in the sunshine. For those of you listening to the audio, we're actually recording a video version of this as well, which I'll make available where the show notes appear. But we had a fun time last night. Yeah, guys.
Great.
We had a bunch. There's a chiropractic convention in town, so I got a bunch of friends in town, like Peter Martone and Mindy Pels. We had people over. We had some Traeger grill lobster and some salmon and a big feast, and I got my butt kicked at cornhole. And then we woke up this morning, and we're about to dive in, and I'm about to turn things over to Shawn to show us his magic. And you're at Square One Systems.
Singular, so Square One Systems.
And is it like squareonesystems.com?
Exactly.
Square One System or system?
Singular, yep.
System, singular. And so if you guys have questions, comments, or feedback on what you see or what you hear, again, you can go to bengreenfieldfitness.com/square, the number one. And I am a total virgin. I have no clue what I'm getting into. I literally purposefully did not ask many questions and figured Shawn would show up and just take things away. So Shawn, welcome to Spokompton.
All right.
Spokazakhstan.
I love it.
No, it used to be that way. Spokane's pretty cool now.
Yeah. No.
So Shawn, give folks just I don't know if you want to give them a touch of a background as you start to do what you do on me, or if it'd be helpful for you to spend a couple of minutes giving people a background first.
Yeah, maybe we get that out of the way, and then it becomes more natural. Okay. Start going to a flow of an actual session.
All right. So what is this?
So Square One, that's the hardest question for me to answer, because if 100 people ask me that, I give you 100 different answers. But in a nutshell, what we're going to do is we're going to find out where you're having a flawed perception of ground forces, right? Because that's where movement and where posture starts. So it's a subconscious perception of where the ground is and how you're oriented in relationship to the ground. And past stress, trauma, injury, that'll alter your sensory motor signaling, so that'll make your perception skew where you're perceiving that you're a little bit tipped to the right or left, forward or back, or a little bit rotated. So it needs 3 different planes of movement, and everybody's off on some level. Right.
And so obviously for a ground reaction force athlete like a football player or soccer or something like that, this would be incredibly crucial.
It could be.
What about for a guy like me who's just like walking 10 to 20,000 steps a day? Now I'm kind of in just like enjoyment fitness, but just keep myself put together. Where's the link there?
Well, the link is that all human beings, we're all movers. So efficiency is always going to beat the tar out of inefficiency. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean out these inefficiencies so that every time your foot strikes the ground, it hits it more optimally. So you're talking less wear and tear in your joints. You get more out of your workout sessions or whatever you're doing. So for a fitness enthusiast to elite athletes, there's something for everybody.
So if you engage in chronic repetitive motion, it's essentially the patterning that you're trying to adjust so that someone is more biomechanically appropriate with toe off, gait, anything like that?
With everything. So what we're really doing is we're boiling down all human movement to 2 base patterns of getting upright and locomotion. So this getting upright is really, you can call that posture. So there's 2 phases, getting up and going down. So it's complete full body supination, overcoming gravity, or complete full body pronation where you're collapsing and absorbing shock into the ground. So up and down is our static balance pattern or posture, and the dynamic balance or locomotion is what happens when the right foot strikes the ground. Ground reaction forces come up through the whole kinetic chain in 3 planes of movement. Same thing with the left. So it's right versus left, up versus down. We're looking for where you're leaking
Okay.
energy on those.
Why on God's green earth should people trust you? Like, what's your background?
Oh, that's great. My background, if we go back really far, I have a 4-year degree from Penn State. I was an early adopter of a system years ago, 18, 20 years ago, muscle activation techniques.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So that was
is that Craig Bueller?
Craig Bueller's one of his students. Greg Roscoff is the guy who came up with that system.
Okay. Craig's advanced muscle integrative technique, is that what he does? AMIT?
I really haven't paid attention over the last X
the only
years.
reason I ask is way back in the day, Tim Ferriss in his book 4 Hour Body talked about Dr. Thumb, I think he called him, who would like put his thumbs in different areas of the body, do muscle testing, release certain muscles, activate certain muscles. This guy's name was Dr. Craig Bueller. I wound up actually through a mutual acquaintance meeting Craig down in Utah, and I've since been down to see him a few times. And he lays you on the table, he does some muscle testing, he even actually has like a digitized device where he can test the muscle, and then he kind of like activates some stuff. You get up, you walk, you get back on the table. So that's essentially my experience with this was with Dr. Bueller in Salt Lake.
Got it. So that style of testing, I'm assuming that Dr. Bueller is still using. He's a chiropractor. I believe he has a background in clinical kinesiology. We're using the exact same style of muscle testing. So that's what I've borrowed from my years when I was doing MAT. Everything else that I learned back then has pretty much been abandoned. So instead of looking at muscles as the source, as this piece of the puzzle that we're going to manipulate, we're actually looking at joint actions, because my problem with trying to break down posture and movement to the muscular level is the way we're designed, there is no muscle that functions in isolation by itself. But a joint action, we can isolate those. So we're looking at how joint actions create patterns. Because if you look at a lot of definitions of a pattern, there's no mention of muscles. It's really multiple joint actions working together to accomplish a task. So I'm going to try to find out where your brain says, hey, I can't handle ground reaction forces in this joint action. When the brain perceives that it can't tolerate load, it has to work around that, and that's compensation. So we're looking at neural compensation. Okay,
gotcha. And then one last question before I guess we dive in and you start to show what it is you're doing, because I feel like this lends itself well to demonstration, which is why we're doing the video and everything too. When people hear muscle testing, many folks, especially those of the scientific bent, will bristle because they associate it with, you hold the ginger in one hand and you hold the digestive enzymes in the other hand, and then you hold out your arm and the person presses down on it, and you put on the magic balance bracelet at the county health expo, and so a lot of people think that's total woo. How is your style any different than something like that?
I think it's the exact same style, but it's how we're using that positive or negative response, or that safety versus threatening response, and interpreting it in regards to, again, to load and mechanics and the ground itself. But what I'd like to do on the front end of a demo is I'm going to find some flawed outcomes, like a restriction in range of motion. So we have a secondary way to check that what we're doing is not bogus. So we're going to show hopefully some range of motion improvements.
Okay, cool. And this is going to be interesting because I really haven't told you anything at all about my body. Adjust your microphone here for me. We got Shawn, just for listeners, with his MacGyvered up. We got his receiver duct taped to him. We got Adam running technical backup. So audience, be kind, because we're literally just 3 muscle heads here trying to figure out how to use audio equipment. So anyways, this will be interesting for people to kind of see, because it's something I'm intrigued about, and I haven't told you anything about my body at all. So
I like that you haven't even asked what I'm doing until right now. So
I haven't asked you a single question.
It's more natural this way.
Yeah, at dinner last night, I was joking with you about this stuff, but we haven't talked about this stuff at all. So this is going to be interesting. You know nothing about me.
Correct.
It's like a magic show where you go to. It's like,
exactly. I love it.
Do you know this person?
Like,
no.
totally.
Have you ever seen each other before in your life? No. Okay.
So cool. So the biggest thing I want to do or ask you is, like, you don't have to give me too many details, but if there's any recent trauma, I just got to be careful with, because I always tell people I don't have MRI or X-ray eyeballs, so I don't want to damage anything or irritate.
Well, like I was telling you, my wife jumped my bones this morning, and that was kind of traumatic. It woke me up super early. Aside from that, though,
so a little fatigue,
psychosomatic trauma, possibly some psoas fatigue. The main thing would be, if I could name anything, a little bit of left lower limb issues.
Okay.
Primarily a little bit of left toe pain on toe off.
Okay.
And then some left knee pain
if there's anything we do that irritates, just speak up. Be a big wimp on the table. I'd rather you over-report if something's ugly.
So just like when someone's getting work like this done, talk anytime something feels funny or
Yeah.
you're just like, oh, that's an interesting spot.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. I just don't want to like
Okay.
create further
Yeah.
irritation in
Yeah,
case you have some
basically,
undiagnosed
Yeah,
structural
left
damage.
toe and left knee
All right,
have
no
been
worries.
a little bit buggy, but that's about it. Other
Okay.
than that, I'm healthy as a horse.
Perfect. All right, man. So let's get you laying on your back. We'll have your
Okay.
feet hanging off the edge.
Okay.
And I'm going to slide you down here. And I don't do a whole lot of functional assessment before and after. It's actually probably one thing that maybe holds our system back. Well, my thing is I'd rather give people what they need.
Okay.
And all that's like kind of window dressing to me. So, but I do like to do a couple range of motion pieces to kind of get the client kind of, okay, come along for the ride.
Okay.
But I don't want to waste like 5-10 minutes doing all this pre-assessment stuff.
Yeah.
We do our thing and then got to do another 10 minutes at the end. So I'm just
Yeah.
going to check like a quick range of motion deal on you, just so we have a
Okay.
starting point, a reference point.
Okay.
So just have you
All right,
laying flat on your back.
Table's nice and warm in the
Oh
sunshine.
yeah, you okay
By the
there?
way, Adam, Adam's doing some backup Instagram. If you need to take my phone out of its giant Defender Shield anti-EMF case and just like nuke your brain, you can do so, because sometimes that case gets in the way of videography.
Perfect. So, all right, this is great. And this is, I don't know what you stepped in, but you stepped in the same thing as everybody else. There's this common thing where the right leg doesn't turn in.
My
That
right
mi-
leg doesn't turn in.
Not,
Okay.
yeah, not as well as the lefty. I'll show you in a sec, but it's
Okay.
like, it's probably something like organs. You know, we're not really symmetrically, structurally, or functionally.
Yeah.
I don't even care.
Oh, we
What
got
I'd
a
love
big
to
old
do is-
liver on one side and
Yeah.
no liver on the other side.
But you can
hopefully.
feel the difference. You can feel that I'm actually pushing harder with the righty than the
I
lefty.
can feel
actually.
that. So
Yep.
my right leg won't go into internal
And
rotation as much.
Adam,
as
you want to
my
get
left.
some longitudinal shot of that? And like, literally, I'm kind of shoving him on this right side. I'm actually being
Yeah.
kind of gentle on his left.
And for those of you listening, it will be really cool for you to check out the video too if you want to kind of visualize this stuff. It'll all be at bengroupfitness.com/square1. That's bengroupfitness.com/square1.
And then for your listening audience, instead of the viewing audience, right now your left leg, I'm creating a little passive internal rotation. On your left leg, we probably got, I don't know, 80 degrees, 85 degrees, nearly, flush with the ground. On the right side, I'm going to say 30, 40 degrees roughly.
It's
Something like that.
noticeably different to me
Yeah.
as you're internally rotating it.
A good 40 to 60 degrees difference.
Okay.
And a lot of times if I have an audience of like a bunch of strength coaches, I usually tap out right there and say, hey guys, what should we do to fix it? And then I kind of let them give their answers.
Yeah.
And then we do those things. And very often nothing happens.
Right.
Like, oh, where do you want me to hit with the lacrosse ball?
Or
Or,
like stretch the internal
yeah,
rotators or
right.
something like
So
that.
if we can try some of that for
Mash
your
the
audience.
adductors.
Yeah, right. So we can so if we're like, you can like, do a little massage and adductors. That might be something they might say, hey, we got to release it to
Right.
allow that movement to occur. And I'm the world's worst massage therapist. I'm not one at all.
Oh man, I thought I'd just be able to lay here and get a massage.
Right.
Adam, you lied to me, bro. Told me I could just get a massage in the sunshine.
Right,
What's
and
going
then
on here?
And no change right there, right?
Yep.
So then you want me to do this again here, Adam?
Yeah.
There we go. Perfect. So that's really no change.
Right.
But we could go through all kinds of stuff, and it doesn't mean everything else is garbage. That's not what we're trying to show, but just the common corrective approach a lot of times doesn't really do a whole lot.
Yeah.
But we're gonna leave this open for now.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna do a muscle test. I know you've been tested by Bueller and probably a bunch of other
Yep.
people, but I'm gonna just refamiliarize you with how I test.
Yeah, because it's been a while since
Yep.
I've done muscle testing.
So I'm going to start with a test that just about everybody passes, so that
Okay.
you get a sense of how abrupt I'm testing,
Okay.
and also see that's not a force output deal. So I'm not going to try to wrestle with you. It's just
Okay.
kind of an abrupt deal. So what we're going to do with this left leg, you're going to maintain this position.
Okay.
I'm going to try to push you into midline. You're just going to stabilize and stop
Okay.
me from pushing
Okay.
inward there. That's about all I'm going to do, right?
Okay.
And you're good. I'll bring the left leg back in, right leg out to the side. You're going to stop me from pushing here. Beautiful. So now you know that I'm not trying to wrestle you,
Right.
right? It's like kind of
Pretty,
abrupt.
pretty subtle muscle
Yep,
testing.
exactly.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to put you in a couple different positions.
Good. I don't want rhabdomyolysis after this session.
that happens. We were doing something wrong. But I'm going to go after a couple test positions that are commonly some weak links. So with this left leg, I want you to externally rotate maximally.
Okay.
So two things that I want you to do is I want you to keep your brain thinking about turning outward, and
Okay.
also you're going to be resisting as I push in. So you get
Perfect.
so turn out,
Okay.
and as you keep turning, you're going to stop me here, and that's a nice grab as well. So bring this left leg back down to midline, and then we'll go here. Two things: keep turning out as I go to push in, and I'm going to give you another shot.
Right
of
leg
that.
was like noticeably weaker.
Yep, I'll do it again. Ready?
Okay.
Right here, and I'm not really pushing hard, so I
Yep.
got that little. It's just a little bit sloppy.
Okay.
Now, I
Yep.
like to show people, back to your question about how can we trust the test. I'm going to show you that you're actually strong there. There's probably a lag in the muscle spindle where it's got to generate some slack and just can't do it right away.
Okay.
But if I do the test where I go a little slower, a little less abrupt, and I gradually ramp you up, I can actually you're actually strong. right? So it's not about force production. It's about, hey, can you respond to load right now? So when you put it to the ground, it's not like, hey, hold on, I'm gonna take 10 seconds to glide.
It's like my right leg's a little sluggish and being able to react to the force you're putting.
Perfect. Okay. And then what we're not going to do with this, I'm not thinking, hey, what's going on with this guy's right leg? I'm literally, this isn't its own box. This is just my red light, green light. We're going to use this as a change detector. Okay. So we talked briefly earlier about right versus left, looking at locomotion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mimic ground reaction forces at a joint action level on you. So I'm going to shove your right ankle into dorsiflexion, and then we'll reference back to that muscle test and see what happens. Does it stay the same or does it change? So I just do a little dorsiflexion.
Dorsiflexion, which shows you listen in. That's the knee up towards the, or the toe up towards the shin.
And then we go back to our test position. And stop me here. And there's no change. Left ankle dorsiflexion, so toe to chest kind of deal, and then a little break. You can take a break there, but show me what happens here. All right, so we got that grab. Okay. Now again, if someone's watching, like, oh, he's pushing hard, he's not pushing hard. I mean, it's easy to kind of see that. Let me check this out.
By the way, this is just a note to James, my audio editor. If there's any pauses, if we have any technical snafus, you know, like Shawn's mic just started to fall off of him, just tighten that up, and you can eliminate those sections if necessary. I wish we were perfect, but we're not.
Yeah, no worries. If we wait for perfect, man, we're not going to do much of anything.
Stupid duct tape.
Yeah, no worries. All right, so then what's cool is when I shoved your left foot back here, turn it out, again, let's pick up where we left off. Good, you're solid.
That's interesting.
Right, and what's cool
my right leg's stronger when you shove my left foot into dorsiflexion.
Yep, and then go back to this first one, right dorsiflexion, turn it out, and kind of lose a little bit of capacity there. But what's really cool is when I make you weak like that, we have that restriction. But when I shove you into the good spot, watch your leg turn in. Right, so like we just picked up 40 degrees of range of motion by encouraging this. So what I'm interpreting all this as right now is when your left foot strikes the ground during locomotion, that helps your nervous system get more organized. When I shove your right foot into dorsiflexion, in the real time right now, it's helping, or actually promotes disorganization. We don't want that.
Interesting.
So what we don't want to do is, hey, let's just practice landing here, there. Like, we don't want to be so generic about it. We want to be very specific. So we're going to try to find out, where is this coming from? So the second piece that I borrowed from AKCK, you know, the muscle testing, but also this therapy localization.
What's AKCK?
AK is applied kinesiology, and CK is clinical kinesiology. AK is an offshoot of chiropractic. That was Dr. Beardall, I believe. He was like out of Detroit back in the 60s, I want to say. One of his students was, I forget the other fellow's name. The guy came with CK. It escapes me right now.
I'm probably not a guy who can help you with that.
No worries, but it was an acolyte of Beardall. Came with CK. So AKCK is kind of like, I would say it's like Chinese medicine applied to the Western world. But those are two tools that we have borrowed.
Applied kinesiology and
clinical.
Kinesiology.
It'll come to me later, that guy's name. But yeah, so those are two tools we borrowed. But all the maps that we're going to mess with and show you is what I've learned just from experimenting with people, right?
All right, cool.
So we're going to find out, like, where's the signaling issue coming from. So we just tap the knees and we check the muscle test. Stop me if you can. So we're always going to use this as a reference. You're good. Check your ankles. So all we're doing is touch and go.
In the past, when I've done muscle testing, one thing that happens is I always forget when people pick it up. So always remind me.
Oh yeah, no worries.
Assume I have muscle testing amnesia.
And I've done enough testing. I can usually tell when a person's just like snoozing on me.
When they forgot to resist.
Perfect. So we touch the knees with therapy localization. There's no change. We do a nice strong test. We just touch your ankles. There's no change there. So it's telling me to look elsewhere for the issue. And then go to your hips. I want you to externally rotate here for me. Excellent. Ben, go ahead and touch your belly and your chest for me, please.
Touch my belly with both hands?
One hand on the belly, one hand on your chest. So we'll touch them simultaneously. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a muscle test and see if that's housing the most recent reason you have to compensate. And it is. So we got to narrow down to either lumbar spine or T-spine. So just release the hand off the chest, just touch the belly. And right here. Solid response. How about only touch your rib cage, please?
Only touch my rib cage back where I was before, like up here?
Perfect. Then we go right here. Boom. So from all these joint action possibilities of what's causing you to compensate, we got to narrow down. When we find this right leg versus left leg, positive, negative, or organized, disorganized, that cut our options in half. So now there's 99 joint actions. You touch your hips, your knees, your ankles. It's not there. We get to your T-spine. There's only 3 options here. So we went from 212 plus options to 3.
That's interesting. When I go in for chiropractic adjustments, because I go into my buddy Mike Valenti at Valenti Chiro, like once a week, once every 2 weeks.
Yep.
He always has to adjust T11, T12.
There you go.
That one's usually stuck.
So he'll do, let's have you let go of the hand off the chest.
Okay.
I'm gonna bias this test so that your brain perceives that you're landing with your left foot striking the ground. So I'm gonna cock your left foot back. You don't have to help me or anything.
Okay.
But just give me a big chest, like a thoracic extension for like 1 or 2 seconds.
Wait, what do you mean?
Aim your chest to the sky.
Aim my chest to the sky, just like inhale?
Not even a breath, more of a arch the upper back.
Okay.
Perfect. Take a break.
Okay, I'm arching.
That's it. And then go back and check our test. You're great. Now we're gonna go T-spine flexion. So just bring your head and shoulders off the ground for a split sec. Take a break. So we're mimicking ground forces and find out where the break is. Turn it here. Okay. So the most recent reason that Ben Greenfield has to compensate, your brain is perceiving T-spine flexion as, I'm not so sure about this. It's correct. So instead of like rubbing you with oils and popping this and that, all you're gonna do is we're gonna direct conscious intent into T-spine flexion.
Okay.
And it's fancy for all we're gonna do is just do an isometric. Just hold your head and shoulders off the ground for like 3 seconds.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Right. My ab work counting for
Right.
There we go.
He's done. That's all he does. So remember at the beginning when I shoved your left foot back, you were solid. I shoved your right foot back and it was kind of causing that disorganization. I'm gonna prove my work, so I'm gonna go back here again.
Okay.
Externally rotate. Stop me here.
Resist. Okay.
Now you're good. So now what's cool, this leg, it turns in no matter what I do to you.
So you just figured out that that right leg ground reaction force dysfunction is related to T-spine mobility and flexion.
Yep. So your internal rotation issue, for you, not everybody, was T-spine.
Interesting.
So it's like we're all the same, but yet you get to customize it because you got
Right.
different set of DNA, different circumstances, different life, different choices. You have your own unique story, so it just draws out your story. So I think with the stuff what we're doing is it's like a reverse chronology.
And you're going to tell me what to do to fix my T-spine issue?
You just fixed it, dude.
Really?
It's all we're changing because we're doing is changing perception. We're not trying to change the hardware. We're trying to change the software.
Yeah.
So if we give you a better program to run, every time you take a step, every exercise you do, you're reinforcing a
Fix
higher
the software, not the hardware.
That's what we're doing.
Cool.
So we're indirectly maybe affecting tissue, but we're directly affecting software, but specifically perception that you're having or subconscious perception you're having on the ground.
Got it.
So all of us are working harder than we have to when we don't know it.
Okay.
Cool. So right now I tell people like, all right, I could be a patient person and stand here and twiddle my thumbs and wait for you to compensate, but that just takes way too long. And you and I are both busy guys, and we want to go through some stuff. So what I want to do is we're going to run some different patterns past your body, find out what's breaking you down that you didn't know.
Okay.
So the most common starting point I use with people, we're going to just kind of put a little bit of force on your ribs. And I want you to give me a mouth breath, so we're going to do a little sympathetic breath.
Just breathing.
Yep, one inhale, exhale. And then I can say, hey, that's bad for your nervous system. Well, that's good. Like that's just me speaking stuff into existence. I'm gonna check your leg and find out what happened.
Okay.
So why guess if you can test? Externally rotate and stop me here. Right? So your brain perceived that little activity as a threat. So we go back to the drawing board, we go back to square one.
You mean you perceive that breath as a threat?
Yep, so that external load on your ribs with the mouth breath combo, yep.
Okay.
So I just shoved your left ankle in dorsiflexion, we got strong again.
So like reset the strength of that right leg. Every time you put my left leg in the dorsiflexion, my right leg gets stronger.
Yep.
But in T-spine flexion and also with that chest breath, it got weaker.
That's rearview mirror, baby.
Okay.
That's already gone. We're already past that, which is awesome. Because once I always tell people, the brain doesn't want to go the long way around the barn. Mm-hmm. It does so because it thinks it has to.
Yeah.
You already neutralized that specific threat. Like that's gone. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna drop deeper and deeper garbage now. Okay. So we already shoved that left ankle back.
All my garbage.
Yep, all your garbage. Everybody's got garbage. Externally rotate and stop me. So go with left step and hit right step. Watch what happens. Externally rotate. Okay, so we got back in that. Yep. But what's really cool is, and this is kind of back to the beginning of this about different muscle testing. You know what's really cool is I need to check your internal rotation, because if it's turn on, turn off, it's one thing. You check it out. Okay. Your leg turns in.
Right.
So this is
my right leg turns in just as much as my left right now.
Right. So even though you got you back into a slightly weak status. Right. Yeah. So that's not just a trick. Like there's a lot of things out there that temporarily trick the nervous system, but we're actually making a true restoration process here.
Interesting.
Hey, Shawn, can you show that again so I can get on the story?
Yeah, I need more tape, dude. I'm like falling apart here.
All right, keep on going.
No, it's like falling off me when I lean forward.
Take your time. Grab some more duct tape. Get them taped up.
Yeah, I mean it's
I want this man to be comfortable.
There you go.
Yep. We can. James, my audio editor, can just edit this stuff out.
As soon as I lean forward, it's the weight of it's pulling off again.
I'm trying to think if there's any other tape that's better than duct tape, but I mean, I can't
one
think
big
of
one around
anything
me.
that's better than duct tape.
We'll just have Shawn go share this.
Yeah, that's good.
Totally can.
That'll draw in a certain specific audience.
The bear hunting audience.
They're like,
Who's in the
Yeah,
silver
yeah,
hat?
bear.
honestly, like anything goes. Like if it's easier for him to rip off his shirt and you to tape it to his chest,
he's like,
whatever.
I like this bear. It's gonna be
Whatever.
awesome to look at the video and
Okay.
watch how the duct tape progresses.
Yeah, all of a sudden, like my talking hole in my eye needs to be covered.
Hold on, I'm not ready. Ben, I have a lot of videos already on your thing, so feel free to
Dump a
go
lot.
back and delete
But
them.
you're just posting to the story.
Because it only does a minute,
Yeah,
so I'm like,
I'll leave it
You
up to
can
you.
go-
Just post however you want to do it.
Alright.
Yeah,
and I'm like, you can go back and
yeah,
delete them
whatever
as
works.
needed.
yeah. No, I'd say primarily just post them to the story. That way they're just up as we're going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If I was just standing upright, I'd be okay. That's why I'm leaning forward. I'm ripping it away a little bit.
So,
Alright.
oh, I'm not ready.
Okay.
We'll never have enough duct tape. It'll be like a weighted vest soon.
Cover the
Stop the mouth breathing. Let's see, maybe video.
So right now, for those of you listening in, we're taking a quick break so that Adam can duct tape Shawn's receiver to his chest. Again, these are a bunch of fitness dudes MacGyvering a podcast for y'all. But basically, we're getting some extra duct tape. We're turning Shawn into just like a Navy SEAL with a weighted vest here. Using half roll of duct tape on his chest. So we got sidelined just a little bit, but I figured I'd open the kimono up for those of you listening in, so you know what we're up to. All right, so you brought me an internal rotation. My right leg internally rotated just as much as my left.
Right,
which
even
it
when
wasn't doing before.
right, even when we have in this kind of like quote unquote weakened status, we go
Right.
back here, turn it out. So there's give, but
Yep.
yet we still have that mobility.
Yep.
So I love to show people we got you more organized by a degree of one because we've only cleared out one reason you have to compensate.
Okay.
We're now playing around, monkeying around here with level 2.
Okay.
We're a little deeper on it. So again, we got left foot going back, you're cool, right foot not so cool. Our last issue we found in you was in your T-spine, so go ahead and tap your T-spine. I'm gonna see if the next issue is
Tap my
also...
chest like this.
Yep, you touch,
Just tap it, just
yep.
like that. Okay.
Perfect.
Do I hold my hand there? Or
You
just-
can, yep.
Okay.
And how about stop me with this right leg?
Okay.
All right, so issue number 2 is not in the T-spine. How about touch your neck for me, please?
Touch my neck, the
Yeah.
back or the front of it.
Front's great.
Good.
Big external rotation. All right, so going backwards through your history, the most recent issue was in the T-spine. Now we're finding there's something going on in the neck.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 4 options here to check.
Okay.
So you can let go with a touch, but go ahead and turn your head to the right for me, please.
Okay.
Big external rotation and stop me here. Perfect. So 1 for 4, you're good. Guess number 2 is keep looking right and pick your head off the ground for me.
Cool.
And stop me here. All right, I had 3 guesses I was wrong. I love to show people how bad of a guesser I am.
Right.
So this isn't science because you know what's going to happen. Like, no, I don't. Because every time I do something to you and you're strong, I was wrong. So I'm
Right.
looking for the flaw.
Yep.
I haven't
Okay.
found it yet.
That makes sense. That
Tur-
makes sense.
Yep, and then turn right and smush your
Turn
right.
my head to the right.
Yep, and then smush your right ear into the ground for me.
Like that.
Yep, like cervical extension and stop here. There's your guy. So we found cervical extension is the next
Cervical
issue.
extension. When I drive that head into the ground, cervically extend, the right leg's weak again.
Yeah, your brain's like, I don't like this.
Okay.
And the things it doesn't like and it feels threatened by it has to work around. So it doesn't
Yeah.
mean you don't get to walk again, it just means you have an altered version of walking. Right?
Okay.
So have your neck straight, and our intervention will be you can go neutral and
Okay.
just lightly press your head into the ground. So we're going to engage those
Straight
cervical
back?
extensors. Yep.
Okay.
Just feeding a little neural, motor drive into the cervical extensors, and we'll have you take a break.
Okay.
Remember, again, this was solid, left dorsiflexion. I'm going to go back to our reference point, find out how we're doing when I shove you into the disorganized pattern, and now you're organized,
Okay.
right? 2 layers in. I'm going to keep messing with you. I'm going to touch your
Cervical
ribs.
extension, cool.
Yep.
Okay.
And then all I do is give me a mouth breath again. Yep. And bring it out. So that's an event. I have no idea if your brain perceived it as a threat or safe. We'll check your leg.
Okay.
So I don't want to speak anything into existence. We'll just read the story. Dude, you're great. So now you graduated from a white belt to like a beige belt, right?
Hey.
You can lay here and breathe through your mouth and yep, piece of cake. Let's get you standing up and have you do a body weight squat.
Okay. Body weight squat.
Yep. 'Cause I think all human beings, grandma to pro athletes, we need to be able to breathe in our
Okay.
mouth and out of our
Okay.
nose. And we need
Just
to be able to
straight down. Just hold
Yep.
hold it or just.
Nah, just kind of come right back up.
Okay.
Get you laying on your back.
Okay.
And I love showing people how these basic, seemingly simple patterns, kind of cause a problem for you, right?
Right.
You're an active guy, you're doing squatting all the time.
Yep.
So we can try to make movement outcomes better through practice, rehearsal, motor learning. We also have this motor control thing. It's like the software that runs the whole system.
Got it.
So what we're trying to do, we're going to try to just tighten that up. Because the answer is, hey, let's do some more squats. Like, you've squatted before.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to fix it. If that had already fixed it, that would not have screwed with you.
Yeah.
You've already prepared in that
Okay.
manner. So we go back here again and stop me. We're good. Then I want to map it out again. Here's left step. Find out what happens. So this time we got to fail there, and then go right step.
Okay.
I got it. So now we're going to chase after what we call right step.
Okay.
So we're looking in right step for the deficiency, the neuromuscular deficiency. Go ahead, touch your neck for me again, Ben.
Okay.
Big external rotation. Stop me here. All right. So now we're issue 3, back in the neck. We're going to do the opposite. I'm going to turn to the left now because we have an opposite
Neck to the left.
Yep. And then when you stop me here, here's your next issue. So I want you to lightly keep turning your head through the invisible wall. So gentle contraction.
Okay.
3, 2, take a break. We'll check our work, which is you go neutral neck.
Okay.
I'm going to shove you into the quote-unquote bad pattern, or the most recent bad pattern, if that's such a thing, and you're good. So we'll keep the show going, have you squat again.
Okay.
So my job isn't to make you squat better. My job is to make it where when you do these things, your brain's like, I got this, take it in stride. So just increasing neural resilience.
Okay.
How about laying on your back?
Okay.
Big external rotation. And we'll stop me here. Okay. Still a little bit of a puzzle that the brain hasn't solved efficiently. Left step solid. Right dorsiflexion or right step. There's our fail. So we're back to a left step scenario. Go ahead, touch your neck for me.
Okay.
And stop me here. Beautiful. How about a chest tap or touch? Yep. And here. Beautiful. Go ahead, touch your chin for me, please.
Okay.
So now we're going to go to your jaw. So what we're going to do here is open wide with the jaw.
Open wide. Okay.
Yep, like 1 second. Looks good. Then we'll check your leg. Go ahead and clench your jaw for me. That blew us out. So I want you to do an isometric jaw clench for about 3 seconds.
Okay. Ready?
Yep. 1, 2, 3.
Jaw workout.
Yep. Let's check the bad pattern. He's good. Let's have you squat again.
Okay.
So we just keep exposing you to the pattern that's provoking until it's under control for you. Get you on your back.
Okay.
And what will happen as this clears, we're going to go more and more complicated for you. Right, there we go. What's cool to me is like, when I show clients, like, man, it's just so amazing to me how that is blowing you out.
Yeah.
Healthy guy, you've done all this stuff, but there's something about that your brain's like, not so good. I mean, it's not surprising because I've never actually, I don't know if I've ever had anybody pass that the first time, right?
Right.
So 2 exposures.
Wait,
messes
pass
with you.
what?
When you squat, it doesn't mess you up.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, like temporarily.
Got it.
But you did it the first 2 times, it kind of created a little chink in the armor.
Yep.
Third time you're good to go. So let's keep climbing this ladder. We'll have you stand back up.
Okay.
Have you perform the same deal, but I want you to close your eyes. We're going to rob you of
Closed eye
visual input.
squat.
Yep.
Okay. Ready?
Yep. So they estimate 70 to 80% of being upright is visual. So now you got to rely upon somatosensation and vestibular inputs.
Okay.
Let's go check you on the table.
Okay. Closed eye squat.
Yep. Close eye squat. See what happens. Externally rotate. There we go. So then I feed left step. There's a fail. Feed right step. You're organized, so we're going to try to find out what's going on with this right step. There's something missing. Go touch your chin again, please.
Okay. Touch the chin.
And fight here. Touch your neck for me. All right, so we're back to right step and the neck. Blew you out. I want you to turn your head to the left.
Good.
Stop me here. Good. Keep looking left, but pick your head off the ground, please. And stop me here. So cervical flexion. So you can go straight neck and neutral. So you can come back to home base and just pick your head off the ground for about 2 or 3 seconds. And take a break. And then our proof is to feed the opposite pattern. You're good. Blind squat.
Okay.
So just trigger and reorganize.
We call this a visually challenged squat, Shawn.
Visually challenged squat. There we go. Perfect.
You gotta stay PC in this shit.
Big external rotation.
They have to call it the Helen Keller squat.
The Helen Keller squat, yes.
Funny.
Perfect.
Upset folks. Oops, I just did that.
Uh-oh. So funny, one of my clients said, hey, don't say anything like too controversial when you go. They're like, how about we just be real people and whatever, man.
My shows, my podcast, me just shooting the shit with friends and learning from amazing people. And then a bunch of folks are flies on the wall with, I think the cool thing being people can go in and comment, leave questions, and generate discussion.
I love it.
Yeah, but no, I always approach my podcast as just like
authentic.
shooting the shit with some buddies.
I love it. I love it. Hey, so your Helen Keller squat was cool.
Okay.
All right, so let's mess with you. Let's get you back up.
Okay.
So this time we can, how about go to bottom of squat. You keep your eyes open and do a little eye convergence. So you're gonna follow my fingertip.
Okay.
between your
While
eyes.
I'm at the bottom of the
Yeah,
squat.
you're gonna hold me like 3 seconds. See my finger. I'm just gonna go in and out. I'm gonna get you over here on the table.
Okay.
So just create these challenges. So if this stuff doesn't throw the brain off, like, okay, cool. There's less reasons that it has to be inefficient.
Makes sense. Okay.
Right here. Dude, awesome. Have you stand back up.
Okay.
So you get more resilience. It's getting harder and harder to screw with you, dude. So let's go, how about stand on 1 foot?
Okay.
And then close your eyes. If that's easy. All right, that's good. Let's get you on your back. So it's really just a matter of setting up puzzles for your brain to solve.
Yeah.
Isn't that? That's what life is. Really. All right, man. So when I feed left step, your body's like, okay, I'm organized. When I go right step, your nervous system's like, hey, I'm disorganized. Go ahead and tap your neck for me, or touch your neck.
Okay.
Perfect. And then how about touch your chest?
Okay.
All right. So we're just pulling out your history. So, you know, it's like you might be too young to remember Simon. Remember that little game back in the 70s?
Simons?
Simons?
I wasn't even born in the 70s.
Yeah, so you're 80s. So they're probably out of vogue by about 79, 80.
Yeah.
It would like, oh, the blue light goes, so you hit the blue. Then it's blue, red, green. It's like this whole sequence.
Yeah.
But your sequence, you know, this is for the old folks like 48 and up that are listening. The most recent reason you had to compensate was T-spine. Then it was your neck, and then it was, I think, another neck, and I think it was jaw, the neck, and back into T-spine.
Right.
So we're just retracing your history. So,
Got
but
it.
about 5 or 10 layers down, I'm like, I don't know what we cleared, man. We're just clearing stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So all you do is give me a big chest.
Big chest?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Thoracic extension, chest to the sky. And a break. Show me this. Perfect. Give me that crunch again. Head and shoulders off the ground. And a break. You got it. All right. Crunch and hold. So
Crunch and hold?
Yep. 3, 2, 1. Take a break. Check our work. You're solid. Have you stand up. Single leg. Blind eye. You know, close your
Same
eyes.
leg?
Same leg.
Okay.
I like to do.
Close eyes?
Yep.
Whoa.
It's crazy, right?
Hard.
About there's vestibular challenge, man. Visual
Yeah.
challenge.
Yeah.
On your back.
Muppet. Right leg with my eyes closed.
Right here.
Okay.
Stop me if you can. Now, what's cool about that is you perform that little skill, a little wonky. You lay on your table, you're fine. So
Yeah.
all that tells us is that's just a skill that you haven't practiced. Doesn't mean you need to practice it. I mean, maybe
the
you're
right leg eye close thing.
yeah, but it's like right now it's not throwing the brain off, so I'm okay with it. So I'm gonna just take it as something else. Let's do
Okay.
we can do different things for your audience. We can throw all kinds of stuff. We can mess with mental triggers. So you know our nervous system does not or cannot distinguish between different types of stress.
Okay.
Mechanical, emotional, thermal, nutritional, chemical. It just knows like, yep, either safe or threat. Yeah, okay. So as you're laying here, I'm gonna just check your leg for a sec.
Okay.
Just make sure we're in a good place. I'm gonna cock your left foot back. You're good. Cock that foot back. Beautiful. I want you to think about if I just said fear. You don't need to verbalize what it is. If I just said fear, whatever that is for you, don't dwell on it, but just think on it for about 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Right, and then you turn on here. You know, we robbed you of neurological resources.
Yep.
But then think about if I said like love.
Okay.
Focus on that for like 2 seconds.
Okay.
Solid.
Holy cow, it's amazing.
Right?
Wow.
So like all the stuff that you monkey with and tinker with.
It's kind of interesting when you say fear, the first thing, because sometimes I'll form like immediate statements.
Yep.
Like when you said fear, it was fear of losing control. Because
Right.
I'm a control freak.
Yeah.
And then when you said love, like immediately my wife and my twin sons came like,
It's awesome.
like pouring in an imagery in my head.
Right? And
Yeah.
they think things like blue zones, people like, okay, yeah, they live in these places that are whatever, that grow
Yeah.
food.
Yeah,
But a big part of it
super
is like what family and loved ones.
Relationships, yeah.
It's huge.
Yep.
I mean, so that's just a little, everybody's, you know, you're my next lab rat. Everybody's a lab rat, just like you're your own lab rat. You're always messing around with yourself. But these are things we've checked.
I
on
like
so
to
many
think of
people.
myself as a yeast or a fruit fly more than a lab rat, but thanks.
Be a little bit more modern
Yeah.
interpretation of the analogy.
Or a
So,
hamster.
right, so then what we'll do is like sometimes I'll use this with like a baseball player,
Okay.
and we'll put them in mental situations where they fail. Your pitcher, it's a 3-2 count. The other team's tying runs on third, and you deliver a pitch, home run.
Okay.
So I don't want them to dwell and make that happen to like try to create that happen. But I'm like, negative things are going to happen. I need to prepare your nervous system so it can handle it when you break down because the game keeps going.
Got it.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, on your own, you can think of all the positive things you want. My job is to make it so when the bad and the negative creeps in, your physiology can still perform. Make sense? Good, man. So how about think fear for 1 sec? I'm going to try to clear fear, or that specific fear as a trigger. Big external rotation. Stop me here. Step back on the right side, solid. Left side. Okay, now that's cool. So we talked earlier about up, down, right, left. I've only been checking locomotion on you, right versus left. You thought of fear, made you fail. Right step, organized, left step, organized. The problem right now is not locomotion, it's in the squat or upright posture.
Right.
So we're going to check on
That's what that upright posture is. What seems to be triggering the weakness in that left or right external rotation.
right now, presently. Yep, exactly. So I want you to clench your jaw.
Okay.
This is right here. So there's our pronation, solid. Open your jaw wide. Right here. There's your fail.
Yep.
So we're going to feed the strong. We're actually going to look for the strong. We're going to look for the issue in pronation and your axial skeleton from your eyes to your tail.
Okay.
So head's neutral. Eyeballs look down towards your toes. In here. Stop if you can. You got it. And tuck your chin into your throat. So capitis or head flexion. Beautiful. Head off the ground. Stop here. Good. Shoulder blades off the ground for a second. You go right back down. We'll check in neutral. Good. How about abs tight, back flat on the ground. Take a break. Boom. Lumbar flexion is the next little missing piece. So we're going to just contract and create a little tension there for 3, 2, break. Okay. Prove our work. Give me that big open mouth. You got it. All right, man. Back to the trigger of fear. Let's go with the same thought, you know, the control thing. And then a break. All right. So let's play on that, because you say you're a control freak. Think along fear, but just say it really got out of hand. Like someone comes in like, no, I'm gonna take that from you, Ben. I got that. And she's like, no, you're gonna screw it up, or whatever it is. So just really amp that up. Like, I don't know, your project you're on, and one of the twins comes in and like he throws you off hard.
Right. Okay. All right, got it.
Ooh. So right now, that thought of control, like, hey, that's your personal thing. You can work with it. What I love right now is when that creeps in, your nervous system.
All of a sudden, my right leg's strong.
Yeah, you're fine right now with that. So all we can do is we can customize all the triggers for you, the individual, right? So a lot of times in the first session, when people are trying to clear up breath and squatting, and it depends on the person. If someone comes in, they're 70 years old and they've had 14 surgeries, that might keep you busy for an hour. Yeah. Right? Healthy guy like you, we got to do that stuff quick. Yeah. So we can start getting more and more and more into the things you want to be able to do and you need to be able to do. Okay. So how about different drills you do? Like I mean, you do all kinds of like self-preservation things. So whether it's a Pilates pose or a yoga pose, or there's certain little resets, like physical things you do, let's check those. Make sure that your brain is getting all the goodies out of those. Okay. So if you hug your knee into your chest, or I don't know what you do, but just so things that you do on a daily basis. Let's play
some kind of a stretch or something that I do on the regular.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. All right. So off the table, on the table, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter to me. Okay. Whatever you want to do.
So let's do. Geez, I mean, like one thing that I'll do sometimes during the day is I'll like go like that, and like that, kind of touching my right elbow to my left knee.
Love it.
My left elbow to my right knee.
Love it.
I like take little breaks during my work day and do that just to kind of keep the left and right hemispheres of the brain connected.
I love it. We'll go right here.
Well, that's my theory, at least.
Yeah, well, it's a good theory. And big external rotation. But your brain right now says, oh, I'm not so sure about that. Mm-hmm. Now, the message isn't, hey, you better stop, that's bad for you. The message is like, hey, let's just keep your brain a little help so that it can get all the goodies out of it. Right. It just challenges a little bit. Okay. So I'm just going to cock your right foot back. We're going to map it out. Righty, great. Lefty, great. So we're going to go back to upright, up and down kind of deal. So go ahead and clench your jaw. Okay. Right here. Open wide. So the next little organizational flaw is inflection again. So we'll have to go eyes down. Okay. Chin tuck, down, head off the ground, go. Head off the ground, just maintain that posture for 3, 2, take a break, open jaw. All right, man, stand up, elbow to knee, or elbow to knee.
Okay, so stand up, do that same move.
Yep, so I'm gonna clear this for you. And now what's cool too is whether this clears after 1 or 5 exposures. If I were to check you in 2 months, 6 months, this shouldn't trigger you.
Okay.
Which is really cool. That's what we've experimented with a lot of people. I want to see how long the effect is.
Yeah.
And it's really more a matter of just exposing you to everything, check you along the way, and just make sure that it's clear. But usually these exposures, once it's in the clear, it stays that way for months and sometimes years.
Okay.
It's so cool how the brain is, man.
Duct tape. Get that duct tape on there. A little more duct tape. Boom, boom, boom. Good thing I have a big roll handy for you guys.
So we won't get better equipment, we'll just get more duct tape.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we owe you.
Well, yeah, just
Just don't hold it
Just
against
Give me your
us.
credit card. I'll take care of it.
Okay, big turn outward here, everybody. Turn it
Okay.
out.
I'll take
Stop
Bitcoin.
me. Can you do that same pattern again? Because sometimes we don't capture the moment. I'm gonna have you do that elbow to knee thing again.
Okay.
Because the body and the brain will self-regulate.
Yep. Okay.
And we found that if we don't capture that moment with some muscle testing and some patterning, we lose that moment. Let's check you here.
Okay.
So I don't want to skip something that
You're
you're
going to
doing.
break to do
Yep,
the duct tape. if we
Exactly.
got it.
Big turn here. Well, now you're rocking. Is there any other things like that you do? I mean, you're doing all kinds of stuff.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean,
Let's
like
check 'em
all
off.
sorts of little moves.
Check them off. What's
check
number 2?
all.
Oh,
I've
a
got,
bunch
like-
of them. Yeah, you
Okay.
bring 150 of them.
All right, let's do. So another thing that I'll do sometimes during the day is like I'll crank out a few push-ups.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Just do like a few push-ups here.
Sure. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, 2, 3, whatever. And this next test, we'll test you upright. So we'll get off the table.
Okay.
You kind of stand up and face me.
Okay.
And what we're gonna do with this right arm? Any issues with the shoulder?
No.
Cool. We'll go a little bit higher than 90. Way to internally rotate. I'm gonna go right here. I'm gonna push down here. Okay. Now it's cool. If I go here, I can go really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Shorter lever. Long
Right,
arm.
right.
Turn around right here. Right
Yeah.
turn. Yeah, that's right here. Okay. So we can map it right here. Eyes up.
Okay.
So you're gonna look up to the sky. Right. Nice. Eyes down. Right here. So up organizes. Down.
Disorganized.
Right. So what we want to do is organize up.
Okay.
So on the table, we're going down to the joint action level. So now we're going to go recent discovery. We don't even need to go to that level. It's nice to customize if you want to get some detail what's going on with the person, but we can just organize the pattern. Okay, so right now we want to work on up. So we're going to sync up nasal breath. So it'll be parasympathetic breath with vestibular inputs. So
Right.
aim the cervical extension and breathe through your nose. All right, man. Neutral. Eyes down. Remember how that was disorganizing? That's our proof right here. Boom.
Stronger.
Yep. So it's the same thing. It's just a streamlined version.
Okay.
So this is actually going to be. We've been teaching this since 2011, 2012. This is going to be part of new courses here. We have the streamline stuff. So
So you're going to teach like trainers and
Well, we've been teaching this. So we have people out there who use the
therapists
system.
how to do this.
Yeah, but now we got a streamlined version because now instead of just learning the muscle testing or I should say, instead of having to learn the muscle testing in the system and all the joint actions, it's a lot for people to chomp on the first exposure. We're now just going to teach them the muscle test, the system, and this form right here. We don't need to go to the joint action. We can just go to the cervical
Okay.
and then kind of get the vestibular and the breathing.
Gotcha. If
synced
somebody
up.
doesn't have a background in personal training or biomechanics, just like that, and they go and try to learn this stuff, are they still going to be able to wrap their head around it?
They are, because we present it in a way that we're assuming they know nothing.
Okay.
So we've actually had clients that are like housewives or history teachers.
You know, like with supination, pronation.
Nope, we'll teach them all that stuff. And then we also, as of last week, I've been hesitant to, I've been wanting to get like a self-administered version. And what's been holding me back is this muscle test, because it's hard to test yourself.
Yeah.
But I've been experimenting with that the last 10 days, and we think we figure a way to teach people how to test
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah.
So what's
otherwise
we're
you'll
gonna
need somebody on hand doing muscle
Exactly.
testing for you.
And there's just not that
It'd be
many
nice
of
if
us.
you do it yourself, yeah.
Right, so we're actually going to progress this whole thing to that. So
Okay.
we went the long way around the barn, or not the long way. We went all the details, all the side streets,
Uh-huh.
on all the detail. Now we're doing a little more general. And once this really clicks with you, then I'm going to teach you how to test yourself, so you
Okay.
can kind of carry on the work after we're out of here.
Okay.
So let's have you do a push-up or 3 as the next exposure.
A push-up or 3.
Yeah, A or 3.
Okay.
And then we'll just go back and check your arm.
Okay.
Turn them in. Yep, that's on here. Awesome, dude.
Awesome.
What else do you do?
Waist strength.
Yeah, so all we're gonna do is like think about when you're doing your workout. So if it's one thing if you're doing some kind of circuit with one after another, but if there's a little downtime, dude, I want to show you how to check yourself in between sets. Just so you have that vibe plate up there, you probably put that in your circuit.
Yeah.
You might want to string some of this in, like how am I doing?
Right.
And then if like you did 3 exercises and you kind of lost it, you can then like kind of figure out which of the 3. Was it
Right.
2 of the 3? And then instead of saying I gotta avoid that's a bad exercise for me, like no. Get your nervous system off control.
Yeah.
So how about another drill, another exercise, another stretch?
A lot of times I'll do like this kind of stretch, like if my hip flexors are tight during the day, and it kind of works my balance a little bit. I'll get down like this.
So
I'll
like a
touch the
quad
ground.
stretch mixed
Yeah,
with
kind of
a
like a quad stretch, almost like a standing version of like, Kelly Starrett's couch stretch type of thing.
Yep.
So yeah, I'll do something like that.
Perfect. Now go ahead and face me. Let's check that right arm.
Okay.
Internally rotate. Let's down again. Shot. Yes, sir. Eyes up.
Okay.
Shooting that again. Very good. Eyes down. So there's disorganized. We don't want to feed that. We want to feed the organizing pattern. So eyes up correlates with cervical extension. So it's neck back or head back, nasal breath.
Okay.
Try to do just one big inhale, exhale through the nose. So that's the intervention.
Right. Okay.
So what's cool is you're going in through your nose and out through the mouth. This is great because it's another test. So we've actually been playing with it lately. We start off with 2 nasal breaths. That was working. Then we went to 1, and we've been messing with this just the inhale. So it seems like the inhale has to go through the nose and not the exhale. So we go eyes down. Yep, eyes down. You got it. Do your quad RDL.
Do that stretch again?
Yep. Just want to make sure that it's clear. And if it's not, we'll just kind of hang out on this one.
Both sides like I did before.
Yep. Mimic same circumstances. It's like any experiment has like 8 billion variables. We want to try to control as best we can.
Okay.
We'll do this guy. And what I'm going to do in the next one is same thing, but just do the first side, because a lot of times when we do this test, it's just going to pick up the last thing you did.
Okay.
So let's just get the first one and check it, just to be thorough and dot our I's, cross our T's. Everybody's like, I got this.
Yep.
So just find something else. Whether it's a lunge, or you turn your head, or you're doing kind of visual balance, whatever.
Okay.
Just give me
Let's
some ideas.
try another one that I'll do a lot, like for breaks during the day. Is I'm going to do like some Tai Chi-esque slapping up and down the body, side to side like this.
Love it.
Use our breathe as you do it, like.
Love it. Just check it. Cool.
Okay.
Love it. See what happens. That's what's fun for me. Is like I go into a situation, I'm kind of open-minded. I'm not rooting for that to be good or bad for you, or a threat or safety. I'm just here to read it.
Okay.
And I'm not going to say, hey, man, stop doing that. Again, my job is that let's clear this so your nervous system gets all the goodies out of that, not just some of the goodies. So how we go, eyes up. So we're just mapping things. Beautiful, eyes down. All right, so we have organized and disorganized.
Right.
But remember on a table, I was just shoving a foot back. We're going to check right and left while you're upright.
Okay.
So I was shoving your left foot back to check left step, shoving right to do this, but we can check it through the eyes. So head still, eyes left. And show me your arm. Nice, eyes right. So right now.
Eyes right, a little weaker.
Yeah, so up and left organize, down and right,
Down and right
disorganize.
Okay.
Right? So we could drill the heck out of left step and up, but like, no, let's just get synced up with the neck or the vestibular system and then the nasal breath. So we've already shown you up, it's head back and nasal breath. But if we want to kind of reset eyes left, what we need to do is we need to do 2 things. So I want you to lean your left over your left shoulder, nasal breath in and out. And turn your head to the right and nasal breath. Because these are joint action responsibilities that occur during what we call left step. We'll take a break. So we'll prove our work. So remember down and right, we're disorganized. Let's check down. Beautiful. So just reorganizing the nervous system on vestibular, visual, and that's breathing, man. Yeah. Breathing is expansion, supination,
right?
Exhale and pronation is what I'm looking for.
Okay.
So if we get that synced up with breath and vestibular positions, life's pretty good. Yeah. So what we just messing? You did your slap and your Tai Chi. Yeah. Probably let's have you do that again.
Which one? Like the twisting and slapping?
Yep. Okay. Like your most popular things you do all the time. Let's make sure the nervous system says, "Hey, baby, this is great." Check it. Okay. So fun. Rocking, man. So what's cool with you is everything's only triggered 1 or 2 times.
Yeah.
Probably a lot healthier than the average person.
Body's learning fast.
It is, man. It's just give a little help.
Ate my salmon this morning.
Ate salmon.
My DHA flowing.
We could check. Like I said before about subs. You can check items of food,
like supplements, stuff like that.
Yeah, not that we have to do it right now, but you can check anything. Yeah, we do thoughts, we do movement. Yeah. I like driving it towards movement because like I don't have people coming in. I'm not a therapist.
Yeah, I could see a great deal of efficacy for this, especially for either a chronic repetitive motion athlete, or like you mentioned, a baseball pitcher, a tennis racket, any of those. Because then, like let's say it was tennis, because I like to play tennis actually occasionally, and not as much as I'd love to, but. So you test somebody like swinging a forehand.
Exactly. Yeah. But even without a racket here, we could do stuff like what happens in tennis. You're laying on one side. We could do that right here. I mean, watch the rocks here on the bottom of your feet, but you got tough feet. Just have you kind of just land on one foot, just like decelerating. Boom. We'll check your arm. Okay. I don't want to assume anything. It looks easy, but I don't really know what your brain's doing about it. Okay. Beautiful. How about land and decelerate on the right leg? Okay. Right foot. Cool. We'll check it. He's an animal. Most things in the first session, first exposure, it triggers. So you're rocking, man. Like only about 2 out of 3 things I'm throwing at you trigger. Okay. So you could do like a ground stroke.
Okay.
Just
So like
air.
try to like mirror a tennis stroke.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Then do another one. Go maybe 50 to 80%, like a little harder. Yeah, do another one even harder. Now check your arm.
Yep.
So that's just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We turned it up to 11. You can handle 10, but 11 is
Right.
a little bit too much. So we go eyes up. Check this. I just have this hand here to stabilize it.
Yep.
Beautiful. Eyes down. So we got up, down.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go right, left. Check these guys out. And then eyes right. So now, right and up we're organizing.
Mm-hmm.
Here's our disorganizing.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to come back and check those after we organize either right or up. We're
Okay.
going to organize up. Let's go ahead back and nasal breath.
Good.
And if we get up, down, organized, right, left usually comes along for the party. So
Okay.
we go neutral neck.
Okay.
Then we'll check down. And I think it was left was failing, so let's go
Yeah.
left. We'll go head neutral and just the
Yeah. Eyes left.
Yep. You got it. Do your ground stroke, 50 to 80% effort, light to medium to medium hard. Let's check it.
Okay.
How about a backhand?
Okay.
Two-hand backhand.
Two-hand.
Yep.
I'm a two-hander, baby, and a one-hand slicer.
Just check it.
Okay.
It's fun when we do, you say about slicing, we have, you're good. With golfers, like just bring your whole bag of clubs.
Mm-hmm.
Different shaft length, different weight. They have a unique response to every one of their clubs.
Yeah. Adam's making symbols at us. What are
And
you saying, man?
we don't speak sign language.
Yeah. What are you saying?
Serve.
Try serve. Okay.
Oh, surfing. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
Ready?
Charades.
Yeah. Got it.
Okay.
I thought you said surfing. Right? That's
Surf.
surfing. Surfing. Yep. Different pattern, different response. We gotta go up, down, right, left. Your arm's doing okay with all the repetitive.
Yeah.
Cool. That's one of the drawbacks. I might switch it
I
up.
took my
if we keep
creatine this morning, bro.
going. Yeah, you're ready to roll. Gonna wake up tomorrow, decides to be swollen,
Yeah.
lefty, not so
Yeah.
much.
Rondo.
Left or right eyeballs, either way. Nice, right. Organized, solid. We go up and down, so there was no option to correct here. We have to find out positive, negative here.
Okay.
So either up or down.
Eyes up only.
Yep, and eyes down just to make sure. So disorganized,
Yep.
organized, that's our only option.
Yep.
Head back, nasal breath. And then we check.
So simple. These corrective exercises.
It's
Yeah.
so easy.
Yeah.
Have eyes down. And what's cool is I like with some of this new stuff I've been playing with is the application for everybody now.
Yeah.
Like if you don't even want to learn how to muscle test, something you can do really simple throughout the day. Head back, nasal breath. Head forward, nasal breath.
Okay.
Because now we're organizing upright posture.
Let me ask you a question because I know if I'm wondering it, a lot of other
Sure.
people are going to be wondering it too. So let's say that you do the corrective exercise that involves, say, like tipping the head back, taking a deep breath in, so we're correcting cervical extension.
Yep.
Is there something going on from either a neurochemical or a nervous system standpoint that you suspect would be then causing that to fix the movement that I just finished performing? Just something as simple as like a cervical extension of the breath.
So, are you asking what is the neurochemical relationship?
Yeah. Could you explain at all, like, or theorize what's going on?
The only theory I would have, and it's above my pay grade. I was reading one time, or I was watching a video on YouTube, and it was kind of neuroscience, and they're talking about when synapses are formed, we have all the reward chemicals, dopamine and
Right.
melatonin, serotonin, all those things are spiked up. And that got my attention because a common report that people come back and share with me after a session is, they usually find me because of knee pain, and usually the first or second session, that knee pain is either gone or it's greatly improved. But a common thing they tell me is like, man, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm sleeping better.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder if what we're doing is actually like making these connections again that were already there. They get lost along the way, and that those synapses are forming, and there's like this chemical release. But that, I don't know if that's answering your question. I don't know if that's accurate.
Yeah.
But it seems plausible, and it kind of fits.
Yeah, it does
we've
seem
observed.
plausible. I was thinking about perhaps like the vagus nerve potentially playing a role as well.
People have asked
especially
about that,
with the cranial nerves.
Yeah.
And the movement of the eyes and the neck.
And they think about the cranial nerves, and then there's something in chiropractic called love it brother reactor. What happens at the neck happens at the sacrum.
Yep.
So if we're getting that stuff just like synced up a little better, there could be something going on there too.
So here's a question for you. I get knee pain when I descend stairs or when I walk downhill.
Great
so if I like walked
Yep.
down these stairs right here,
Perfect.
we can do a test with that.
Do that almost
Okay.
every session with people. That's a common question.
All right.
So we have a lot of back, hip, and knees are probably the three most common.
Just walk down these stairs.
Yep.
Okay.
And then we'll just check your arm.
Okay.
Internally rotate. Yeah. So even though you can land single like we
Right.
did earlier, steps are an
Right,
issue right now.
yep.
Did you feel symptom as you did that or not so much yet?
I felt a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go eyes up. Eyes down. Let's organize that. So it's head
Right.
forward, nasal
So
breath.
it's weaker so now I go head forward. That makes sense.
Yep,
Nasal
because
breath.
because we went eyes up, we had that disorganizing response, and we went eyes down, it was organized. So
Okay.
we're going to go neutral. We'll go eyes up to check our work. Beautiful. Have you descend the stairs again. But this is exactly it. We find out what is pain provoking. This is a lot of times like a second session deal. I'm trying to clear out these generic trigger, like getting out of chairs, breathing,
Yeah.
and then we kind of customize it late in the first session. A lot of times in the second session,
Makes sense.
like what hurts this person. Like so, pain provoking. We can go into like I would call them the baby patterns, like developmental patterns. You can bring anything incorporated into this.
Yeah.
You can do like massage. You can do foam rolling.
Yeah.
Just as inputs into the system.
Okay.
Just monitor how. Yeah. Eyes up. Eyes down. All right, so organized.
Uh-huh.
So now we got to look right.
Organized
left.
up and down.
Yep.
Okay. So now we organize right, left.
Eyes right. Disorganized, organized.
Now I look to the right and breathe in. Or no, this would be
Yeah,
to
very
the
good.
Right and breathe in. Yeah.
Yep. And there's a second one too. So there's our transverse plane piece, and then you go straight at me, left ear to left shoulder. So you can lean into the strength as well in the frontal plane, and the nasal breath here. So it's a lot of times checking up and down because it's one exercise. This is two.
Yeah.
And I'm so.
Okay.
Let's go. How about eyes right? Yes, sir. Stairwell.
Okay.
Coming down. And we might clear this, and the nervous system's okay, and you may or may not have a change in your pain because I'm not a tissue interventionist.
Right.
Mine is getting organized on the stuff.
Fixing cartilage, fixing movements.
Exactly.
That led to cartilage degeneration.
Yeah, but then we have these crazy stories that people have like live, real time L5 fracture with pain.
Yeah.
We get the stuff organized, their pain's gone.
Wow.
I'm like, God, be careful because structurally you're not right, but we got you so organized that pain's such a huge piece that sits tight in the brain.
Yep.
And we don't really think about it yet. Yeah, that's a good trigger, bud. Eyes up. Eyes down. Yeah, baby. Right or left. You're organized up and down. How about eyes right? Okay. So eyes left, which is lean left and turn right. So left ear to left shoulder, or Either way, the order doesn't matter.
Okay.
As long as you get them in sequence, right left, right lean, left lean, or right turn, left lean. Good. Left ear, left shoulder. All right, then we go eyes right to check what was just recently disorganized. Is organized. Stairwell.
Okay.
So it all comes down to trigger or train. You throw a pattern at a person. If they accept it, we can now train it. If it triggers you, like, no, we can't progress yet until we get this under control.
Right.
Do that. All right. Have you do another one. I just want to see.
Descend the stairs again?
Yep, because you're organized. I just want to kind of interview you. What's it feel like? Is it same, better, or worse?
I would say a little better.
Maybe a little better.
Six, so I'm descending 3 stairs, but
Right.
subjectively, I'd say a little better.
So as long as not, if the pain was the same or better, I might say, hey, you know what? We can train this now. Because it's not disorganizing you. Now, if we add more volume and it starts irritating pain, like, you know what, I don't have X-ray eyeballs or MRI eyeballs, I don't want to mess with you. But if you're open to it, I think we should do the whole flight and just see. Sometimes once it's cleared,
So go down here and descend a whole flight of stairs?
Yep. So now we'll have like motor learning on top of it. Better software.
Stop for a second here and wet my whistle.
Yep.
And James, you can cut pauses like this and stuff out if there are long awkward pauses or belches. All right. Okay, so I'm standing at the top of the stairs, the longer staircase. You're going to just descend the stairs.
Yep, and we'll see how the software handled it, and also what it feels like, especially after I check your software. So I like to get that blind information first. Hold this here. Software is cool with it. Same, better, worse. And I was telling, don't worry about my feelings. I'm not
Same, better, worse, descending?
Yeah.
Tough to say because that was the first time I descended.
Do it again.
Okay.
Because again, it's as long as the software is together and it's not getting worse, I feel comfortable progressing you with volume, load, all kinds of stuff.
I'd say a little better.
Let's check it.
Okay.
And it's It's the left leg as you strike or as you're unloading?
Left knee, kind of like from the striking through the unloading phase,
Okay.
I'd say. Yeah.
Yesterday at dinner or somewhere last night, toes over knees guy.
Yeah, we talked about Ben Patrick, knees over toes. Yeah.
Let's do some of the more basic drills that maybe.
Yeah, I
some
can
of
do a
those.
few of those.
'Cause it's kind of
I've
similar.
actually been doing some of those.
Yeah.
Because Ben's gonna come on my podcast. I told him, look,
Nice.
I'm gonna give all your drills like a 30-day fair trial. So
I love it.
I'm like 10 days in. Okay, let's just do some of these.
Yeah,
These
we'll
are,
check
these
every
are like
one.
his lean against the wall, dorsiflexion type exercises for tibialis.
And we're going to check you after each one of these.
Okay.
Now, if I'm standing here, it's interesting. I didn't notice it just laying there, but definitely more swelling in the left knee. You can see, like, your kneecap sticks out more on this side.
Yep. The reason I have swelling in my left knee is because 4 weeks ago or so, I got stem cells injected into it.
Oh, gotcha.
And the doctor, I don't know if he was aware of this, but when you combine like placenta matrix or ozone or anything like that with stem cells, it accelerates the inflammatory response. That knee just swelled right up and kind of like deactivated the quad a little bit.
Oh, interesting.
So when the knee swells and deactivates the quad, what happens is that any pain that you have begins to become magnified.
Sure.
In this case, the quad was no longer supporting the movement of the patella, but it was a blessing in disguise because it was hurting so much after that injection. I thought, I'm going to get an MRI just in case.
Yep.
So I got an MRI, and it turns out that there's actually some significant cartilage degeneration on the femur and on the backside of the patella.
Okay.
So much, in fact, that and I'm going to do a podcast when I'm down there. There's a procedure, a minimally invasive procedure called an intraosseous drilling, where Dr. Matt Cook and another guy, they're going to go in and they use ultrasound guided imaging. They do like microneedling into the surface of the degraded cartilaginous area. In this case, it'd be like the back of the patella and the head of the femur. And then they fill that with like a bone marrow. It's like a bone marrow aspirate, bone marrow soup. And apparently, and I interviewed like 6 different orthopods about this, and every single one was like, thumbs up, dude, that this should actually be like,
it's like a very
we've seen this
targeted
to work compared to a full-on knee surgery or resurfacing or something like that.
Right, you don't have the recovery time and the rehab time and all that.
Yeah, so that's what happened. That's why you still see that left knee. I mean, you can see it's like visible.
Yeah.
If you see with the camera here, I'll show people on the camera too, right? See that left knee?
What's funny, down in the bright light, like kind of squinting a little, I didn't notice it. Like, I notice it here now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did some of those dorsiflexion exercises from the knees over toes. Do you want me to do a few more?
Yeah, do them because some time that slipped in there. Yeah, exactly. Give it a fair test. Okay. And then what's cool about this too is like some people are like, hey, how's this compared to such and such? Like, look, there's nothing quite like what we're doing, but we're just making sure whatever interventions you're using.
Yeah, this is like different than what I did down at say like Bueller's.
Let's check this. Yep.
Okay.
Cool, man. And we'll see the arm right here. That drill, like, cool. Your body's like, I can handle that. How about some more knee over toe?
Okay, different knee over toe drill?
Yep.
Okay, so here's another one where you go into the wall, you bend the knees like this, and then it's almost like kind of like a seated calf raise machine, except your knees are bent against the wall.
Perfect.
This is another one. Now you'll do like 30 of one, and then do all 30 of these, but I won't do 30 right now.
Yeah, it's got like 5 or 10 of them. That's perfect.
Okay.
Let's check it.
Okay.
Because that's what's cool too. We find that it's usually the exposure.
Yeah.
Whether it's 1 rep or 10, it doesn't.
There's one I can show you that actually does hurt. I'll show it to you.
Okay. That's great. I mean, because those are good. So maybe we start getting ones that are just a little bit.
Yeah. So like this one.
Provoking.
And what Ben told me is when you're doing these exercises, you only want to go through range of motion that's pain free. But this is one where even through like a baby range of motion, there's still a little bit of pain.
Sure.
But basically, I think he calls this not a Patrick step. I can show you what that one is too. It's like a knees over toes lunge basically.
Okay.
So we're like this, and then back. And for this exercise, for example, that he sent to me, I do 5 reps on one leg.
Sure.
And then 5 reps on the other leg, and you do like 5 by 5 of that. Like the whole routine he sent me, I'm supposed to do it 3 times a week, and it takes like 15 minutes.
Nice.
Okay.
How does it feel like you're doing it right now?
A little bit of pain.
Okay.
Yep, that's the one exercise of the whole series that gives me a little bit of pain.
I'm trying to rotate. Okay. Stop here. Yep. Eyes up. Eyes down. So organized.
Yep.
Left, right, we'll check.
Okay.
Beautiful. Eyes right.
That's how eyes right.
That's eyes right, so it's left ear and right turn with the nasal. So we're just gonna call this like clearing breath versus a.
I'm learning. It's all making sense. I know some of my audience members, they'll have their head scratched a little bit, but as we're doing this, every time we do it, I'm understanding more.
Right, because, and as I tell people, like all I'm doing is setting up seesaws all day long. We have an up-down seesaw and a right-left.
Yep. Yeah.
Now,
Exactly.
if you're crashing this side, well, that's not the problem. Everybody pays attention to crash. Like what's missing?
Yeah.
So it's really like a reset, a restoration process.
Okay. Now arm goes out again.
Yep, and eyes right, because that was disorganized. Beautiful. And how about just do 1 rep of that pain-provoking one?
1 rep?
Yep. And if it's good, then we'll go 3 or 5, you know? Because I always try to be as conservative.
That's actually a little better, dude.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
It is. I'm not just saying that.
No,
like,
I know.
You know some
We
of
get
the
this all the
stuff you're
time.
always like questioning placebo, etc.
Correct.
Okay. Not bad.
All right, let's check it. That was 4.
Okay.
That's beautiful. Yeah. So now you can get more of the goodies. Because when there's pain, that's a really good driver.
So
to
now
make
when
you
I
work
do
on.
that exercise in the future, my nervous system has already been retrained.
Exactly.
We're hypothesizing the nervous
Yep.
system.
And maybe, like, let's just stay with that one because that's a pain provoker. Let's do the same thing blind. Because then if you can clear this, then it's like,
Eyes-
all
eyes
right,
closed.
then everything the same.
Okay.
Yeah, a little balance challenge.
Yeah, a little balance.
How'd the pain feel?
I would say it's a little more with the eyes closed.
Yep, right here. Because the whole thing is, if we can
Yep.
get it eyes closed and you're
Yep,
organized,
I was weaker there.
yep, up and down, we'll check it. So there's
Yep.
mapping you out. Good map, looking down. Also good map. You're good here.
Yep.
Right, left again. Let's see
Yep,
which one's
yep.
their guy. Let me see that one again. I think that's your give me. How about turn right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure. I went a little harder now. Just make
so
sure.
left on that side.
Yeah. So now it's left disorganized,
Mm-hmm.
right organized.
Right.
So now you lean right and turn left. You know, separately with the nasal. Yep. Turn left and through the nose. And then out can be nose or mouth is what we're learning.
Okay.
So then we go eyes left. Prove our work. Good.
Yep.
How about just 1 or 2 of the same style lunge? with
Eyes
the
closed,
Yep.
lunge. Okay.
I'd just say 1 or 2 because what if we got to do this 10 times? I don't want to irritate you too bad. You know what I'm
I can
saying?
tell you that first one felt better already.
Beautiful, man.
Nice.
All right.
Oh
check
yeah,
that out.
definitely better.
I love it. Well, let's stay with this because this is the first thing we've come across
Yeah.
that irritates. Let's
Yeah.
make it crazy on you. Let's go same lunge, eyes closed, a little right left head turn. So I have a little transverse
When
flight
do I
action
do the head turn?
the whole time. If you maybe start with it just to kind of get your brain warmed up with it. Yeah, and keep turning, head turn, head
Now
turn.
head turn to the left.
Yeah, left and right. Keep turning. Just keep turning. Yeah, just throwing a little bit of complexity here. Yeah, it's weird. Beautiful. Let's check the arm. That didn't fool your brain. That's awesome. How about head up and down as you're doing the lunge? Just making that target bigger for your nervous system. Like, all right, if you can do all this stuff, you know, I think you guys get an old person and they're out of pain as long as they walk like this.
Yeah.
But as soon as you open up, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that hurts the hip. So
Yeah.
all we're trying to do is give you a bigger target.
And it wasn't too painful like that.
Awesome. Here's a weird one. Frontal plane, like ear to shoulder as you're trying to do that lunge.
Okay.
If you can. This is a weird one. Yeah, beautiful.
Patting my head.
Yeah, man. It's awesome. It's pretty good, man.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I love that, like, we can use, you know, the knee
Yeah.
over toe guy, because actually
Yeah.
his name came up like 3 times
Yeah.
last month.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah,
kind of
Ben
cool. You can
Patrick.
make us,
Yeah. He's a good dude. He's very, very kind. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is called his Patrick step,
I love it.
where you just lower the heel and push back. This one definitely historically, you know, not almost no pain with it, you know, compared to that knee over toe lunge.
Oh,
Okay.
let's check it.
Okay.
Yeah. No big
Yeah.
deal for your nervous system there.
Yep.
Any other drills that you do that are either
Yeah.
pain provoking or super challenging?
This one's like a hip flexor drill where you sit straight up and down, kind of, and this is also from knees over toes.
Love
Let's
it.
go there
Oh yeah, nice.
and then there.
Let's pick
And so-
one side and check it because it'll have an independent response.
Okay.
And I can come down to the floor and test
Yeah,
you.
and
there if
obviously
you
it's the left one that I'm really focusing on too.
want. Yep, and I'll check you right there if you have to.
Okay.
Very cool. Nice. Want to try righty just because you're going to do both.
Yep.
Might as well check it. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right now those are,
Yep.
keep those in the repertoire. Keep all
Okay.
in the repertoire, really.
Okay. Let me think. So we did that one. We did that one. We did the step lunge. We did the Patrick step. We did the seated one. There's one that's just a stretch called the elephant walk, which is super. Like it's no pain, just a hamstring stretch. And then the last one is like the Kelly Starrett style couch stretch. So those are really all the exercises in
Love
that
it.
sequence.
Awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Any other things you do? Like now it's like, hey, what are the things you're doing? Like, let's just
I mean,
make
we
sure.
get crazy. I shoot my bow.
Yeah, let's do that.
So
Awesome.
you guys want to do a few with the bow?
Heck yeah.
All right, folks. So we moved on to try like a functional activity with a piece of equipment. In this case, I'm going to shoot my bow and then we test after I shoot my bow.
Yep. We'll do
How
one
many
draw.
shots you want me to take?
Let's take one shot. We'll check
One
it.
shot. Okay.
Nice one.
Okay.
All right.
Just kill the turkey.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
A little high for him. Disorganization.
Yep.
Go eyes up or down. Check him.
Okay.
Go eyes down. Eyes left or right. Heads right. So
Okay,
lean
so
right
left.
and turn left.
Okay.
Left was the fail. Yep. And then a nasal breath. So it's cool you're doing the bow because that's what I use as an analogy. So just to get a sight in a weapon.
Nice to left.
Yep. Head left actually. So you got two pieces of equipment. You got your body and you got the external piece of equipment.
Okay.
And it's eyes.
Yeah. All right.
Eyes left. Yep. You got it.
Okay.
Nice.
Wanna shoot again?
Yep.
Okay.
Checker.
Nice exposure. Nice. Great. I dig it.
That's
Sweet.
awesome.
If I get enough this season, guys, thank you.
Yeah, that's right.
That was quick. So all we did was we corrected that left eye dysfunction. I was disorganized
Mhm.
on the left. I shot. You shot. I was disorganized. We did the correction. I reshot.
Yeah.
And
Tolerated that
everything was
activity.
aligned. Yeah.
Yeah. So now you can
You
get
could pretty much rinse, wash, and repeat this with any activity. Shooting free throws, anything.
anything. Sports,
Wow.
life. Yeah.
Amazing.
So then you have rehab, you have performance, and you have in the middle of
Yeah.
fitness. You can do it.
Yeah.
Applies to anybody really.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I want to ask you a couple of questions.
Sure.
Just again, I know we're kind of probably getting close to the end of the demo phase for people, but help me to wrap my head around. Let's say I'm sitting here listening to this podcast, and I'm like, I don't know if I can learn how to do this myself. I'd like somebody to walk me through it. So average lay person listening in,
Sure.
how they could actually identify activities that produce pain or that they want to become more proficient or efficient at, and actually go through a protocol like this. I want to ask you what they would do, what the next step for them would be, and then I also want to ask you what the next step for the professional who's like, oh,
Sure.
I want to add this feather to my cap as something I could do with my clients.
Okay.
So what would be the next best place for people to like learn more or be educated, certified, whatever the case may be?
Sure. So the general question about being educated in the system would probably be to follow us on Instagram, because that's
Okay.
where we're most active, putting new information. So generally speaking, Instagram's the best way to interact with us.
Okay.
For the layperson, we're going to ask that they're just a little bit patient for now.
And Square
Square-
one system on Instagram.
Yep. So
One
add
system.
Square One System.
And if you guys go to bengreenfieldfitness.com/square1, square the number one, I'll link to all this.
Yep. And then so for the layperson, we don't, other than like actually working with me or one of my students, we only have about 300 students and probably 20 or 30 have been certified so far. Other than that, they have to be patient for a little bit because we're going to put a new self-administered version
This is all
together.
kind of new for you, isn't it?
Well,
put
it-
this all together. Or?
Wait,
Well,
he
been
just
teaching
showed
it.
you is like your
Fresh.
Yeah.
Dude, like stuff we're doing
Right.
with you right there at the end, the last 20 minutes here.
Yeah.
That's all stuff that's been in
Cool.
like the last 6 weeks.
Wow.
The impetus moment was back in 2008, so we started teaching in 2012. So we've had a system that we teach people that are more like in the industry.
Right.
So now for the layperson, we're going to have a product out probably in about 3 to 6 months. So I'm hoping before 2021's over.
Okay.
So probably October, November, December. We're also going to retool the education modules so that we have like in bite-sized pieces. Because right
Right.
now we're making these guys drink through a water hose. And
Right.
So we're going to have that again, October, November, December. We're going to have new courses for the Movement Pro. So level 1 will be kind of what we're doing at the end, just eyes up, down, right, left. It won't get into joint actions. That's level 1. Level 2 is like all the back roads, all the side streets, and that's what we
Gotcha.
currently teach. So that'll still be offered, but you just give it to them in stages.
Right.
And then in the third phase for the Industry Pro, we're going to show them how to really customize the selection of
And
triggers.
people learn this online and then have to go to like a live clinic with you.
Currently, they can learn it online. They can go online and buy a level 2 right now.
Mhm.
And I tell people if they're wanting to do that, they should not hold back on buying it right now, because what we're going to do is anybody who bought previously. We're going to grandfather that in as a payment on our next group, so we're not going to screw anybody over. Like, oh, now you got to buy this other product. So they shouldn't have any reservations about spending the money now if they're interested.
Gotcha.
Just know that in 3 to 6 months they're going to have even better courses coming out. And they already had paid for almost all that admission.
Okay.
And then so just for the layperson, you just have to be a little bit patient. But we're going to have stuff hopefully by the end of this year, early 2022.
Sweet. I dig it. All right, cool. So if you guys have questions or comments or feedback about this whole fascinating protocol, and you just call it Square One System.
Yep.
Right?
The Square One System.
Squaring you up.
Neural restoration.
Just go to, what'd you say, Adam?
Neural restoration.
Neural restoration. Go to bengreenfieldfitness.com/square1. I got no financial affiliation or whatsoever with Shawn or with Adam. I just think this stuff's cool to be able to bring new ways to correct the body to you guys. You can stay active for life. So, guys, anything else you want to throw in for people?
Man, I think you covered it all. Anything you're thinking, Adam, that I need to bring up? I thought you did great.
I mean, I want to say just do it, obviously, but I mean, this guy's the Obi. He's a Jedi Master. He's Obi-Wan Shawn.
Yeah, Obi-Wan Shawn. I dig it. All right, folks. So bengreenfieldfitness.com/square1. Shawn, Adam,
dude,
thanks for making this happen, guys.
Yeah,
dude, thanks for giving us an audience, man. That's awesome, dude. Thank you.
Appreciate it.